Laurel, welcome back to the show. It's great to see you, and I want to say congratulations. I met backstage your beautiful fiance.
Yeah.
You are engaged.
I'm engaged.
You were engaged. I want to hear all about it. Was it special? Did you cry? Where did you do it? Did you go on one knee? What?
Well, let's say this. First of all, since I've been engaged, she's been on like 15 to 20 brunches. People didn't take out to eat and dinner. Ain't nobody did nothing for me since it happened.
I'll call you next week. I'll figure something out.
But no, I got one call. He's like, "You sure?" And he hung up. That was it. I was like,
Where did you do it?
so look, first of all, it was a kind of last minute decision.
Okay. You didn't plan on doing that?
I didn't plan it at all. This goes, now, I never told this side of the story before, so y'all getting it for real. So it's a Chinese buffet we like to go to.
This is a disaster. This is a complete disaster.
It's
If she comes storming out of here and wants to, I'm letting you have it. You're on your own.
But it's the truth. On Saturdays, I like Chinese. So I go to Chinese buffets all over the country for no reason. I don't know. It's about
all you can eat buffet.
Chicken on a stick. It's the salt and pepper shrimp with the, and then they got a hibachi grill sometimes.
Right, let's get to the engagement.
Okay,
let's get to the engagement.
And so
you got engaged. It's a big deal.
I got so happy. I'm like, oh yeah, even the ice cream and that weird chocolate thing that it never cuts off, but it's dripping chocolate. No, so look, we decided to go to the mall after that because we was shopping to go to a wedding next day.
Okay.
And it's a true story. I walked past the Tiffany store because she was at another store and I was on the other side of the mall, and I'm like, is it time?
Yeah.
Right. And so I walked through the store. I said, "What's up, Playboy?" I was like, "What?" First of all, he wasn't used to somebody calling him Playboy.
Yeah. What's up, Playboy?
What's up, Playboy?
But you see those beautiful rings.
I picked 3. It was 3 I picked. I said, "Let me look. Can I see your engagement rings?" He's like, "All right." And he probably thought I was just like window shopping. And I was like, "No, give me that one." He's like, "What?" Give me that one. I gotta get an outfit. You know what I mean, for this wedding tomorrow. So I picked the ring out. I paid for it, and he was like, "Yo, this is the fastest."
You're like, dude, this is a Chinese buffet I gotta get to. I got things to do. Hurry this up, man. So yeah, this is the fastest sale he's ever got, right? So
that's what it was. I needed to get home. After having a Chinese buffet.
I gotta go to the buffet, man.
Brother, I gotta get home because of.
Yes,
right.
You got things to do. So
it was ice cream, chicken on the stick. It was a lot of mixtures.
Chocolate fondue.
I know, so I had to get home.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, so look, I get the ring. And it's in the Tiffany's bag, and I'm like, oh man, I can't let her see that I went to the Tiffany store. So I'm like, do you got like a plain bag? He was excited, like, do we? You know, like I guess people do like surprise engagements and stuff all the time. So
you can't walk back out and go, what are you doing, honey? I just went to Tiffany and got myself something.
Yeah, I bought me a bracelet. And she's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I get the ring, I get in the car, I just leave her at the mall, which is even crazier. She's like, yo, where you at? Oh, I'll call you Uber. And no.
Come on, that's not true at all. I'll call you an Uber. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, I ended up getting in the car and I call her dad, who's in Mississippi. That's her dad, to get his blessing and let him know, which is, you know, you call an old black man in Mississippi, that conversation can go. I said, look, I want to ask your daughter's hand in marriage. I just wanted your blessing. He's like, oh, well, it's cool. But, you know, me and Willie fishing, so, you know. You know, he just started, it was such a long conversation about nothing. He's like, what were we talking about again? The blessing.
I need your blessing. I need your blessing. Yeah.
And so, you know, I get his blessing. I call her daughters, and I call my kids to let them know what I was doing. And they was like, well, where are you going to do it at? I said, well, I'm taking her to see Beyonce on Monday. I'll do it at the Beyonce concert. And when I decided to do that, I called Miss Tina, who I love to death, which is Beyonce's mom. Miss Tina knows.
Yeah.
She's so amazing.
How do you know?
How did I meet Miss Tina? It's a crazy story. So the first time I ever saw Black Panther was before it came out. And so this thing about it, I thought I was going to a regular screening. I thought it was a special screening, but like a regular LA, like Hollywood screening with like a bunch of people there. And I show up and it's like, wait a minute, this is exclusive. And I didn't really know. I didn't really know who was coming for real. And then so I invited my friend Aunt Hannibal Burris, who's staying in the Airbnb down the street. So I was like, hey man, look, if you want to come through, come through. That's before I knew it was like an exclusive situation. It was very exclusive. So like Gerard Carmichael was there, DJ Khaled was there, And then I see, like, you know, when Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Miss Tina all walk in together, they like walk in a triangle. It's kind of like with security, and then it's them in the triangle thing.
Yeah.
And they walk in, the wind blowing, and I'm like, oh, this is...
The wind just blows when they...
Just blowing.
Yeah.
Like, that's a theater.
Yeah, it's Beyonce. No.
Where the fans at? You know, I couldn't see the fans.
That's Beyonce effect.
And so they walk in with the security. I'm like, wait a minute, is this an exclusive thing? And I try to hurry up and text Hannibal, like, hey, man,
That'd be cool.
I don't know if before I could do that, somebody was knocking on the window.
You're like, hey, dude, the screening's canceled, dude.
You're like, bing, boom, boom. Yo, Ralph. I'm like, hey, yo, who invited Hannibal Buress? I was like, I did.
That's so funny, man.
And so, yeah, I sat next to Miss Tina doing the movie, and we was talking, like, throughout the movie the whole time, and man, she was so cool. And after we watched the movie and everybody walked out the theater, she left her phone there. And so I grabbed the phone, I gave it to Jay, and I'm like, Jay, Miss Tina left her phone. He's like, yeah, she always do that. I'm like, oh, all right. And so I give him the phone, and maybe like a couple of days later after that, a good friend of ours, Robbie Reed, he's a legendary casting director, hit me up and was like, Miss Tina wants you to host her gala. And I guess like she ended up like looking up all my stuff after we met and just thought I was cool. And from that point on, she's been like one of my second moms, and I appreciate her so
No
much.
way.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
So you call up...
I call her Miss Tina because I'm like, and it wasn't, look, I already bought the tickets, so I wasn't asked for tickets, okay? Let's get that out the way.
You're going to see Beyonce.
I'm going to see Beyonce. This was her birthday gift. She wanted to see Beyonce. That's what I got her for her birthday. And it was crazy because it was a last-minute gift. And I remember I was on the phone with my other homeboy, and we both tried to get tickets to his girl. Like, real, your money different, so we ain't going. And so we look at the tickets.
Your money's different.
I'm gonna just go take her to see, I don't know, Earth, Wind, and Fire or something.
Not even. Fire couldn't make it. I'm just gonna see Earth and Wind.
Yeah, go see Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna see Earth and Wind.
Earth and Wind.
Yeah, I can't even afford fire. Yeah, I'm gonna see Earth. I'm gonna see Earth.
Go see the bongo player. He got a show.
Yeah.
So I got the tickets last minute, but I called Miss Tina because I want to make sure I propose to the right song. And it's the Renaissance concert, so I'm like, is she gonna even do any of the slow songs? Like, cause everything is energy, you know, it's all that.
Yeah.
So like, and so
Yeah, wow.
you know, that's
Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, Miss Tina, what's the perfect song to propose to? And she was like, well, do it to Love on Top. I'm like, oh, okay. She said, well, what Beyonce does, she stopped the song and let the audience sing. And so that's when you should do it. And I was like, all right, that'll be perfect. That's when I'm gonna do it, you know? And then she was like, well, I told Jay that you were proposing, and he suggests that, you know, we could put it on the Jumbotron for you. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Nah, I didn't. You know, it's already pressure propose. Like, you know, because you don't think she's gonna say. I remember I was talking to my son about this. He's like, Dad, do you think she's gonna say no? And I never thought about it. Like, yo, why would you say that?
Yeah. Why, don't put that out there. Don't put that out there.
That's what my 13-year-old said to me. I mean, what if she says no? And he was like laughing. I'm like, what?
That's an option? Yeah, I guess you're
I
right.
never thought about that. It's her choice. And so, you know, she told me Love on Top. And it was even funny with the story. She's like, look, I told Beyonce what's happening. And, you know, look, Beyonce's a sweetheart, first of all. Let's say that. She's a sweetheart. And it's her show. She's like, Real want to do it today, this show, on Monday, my birthday show, you know, and it's like.
Oh, it's her?
It was her birthday show. And I was like, yeah. But first of all, I didn't ask for all the other stuff that came with it. I was just calling to ask the song, you know what I mean? And then everybody else was like, do the Jumbotron.
Yeah, you don't even want to be on the Jumbotron.
Because she's like, do Real understand I have so much I got to do? I'm like, yeah, I do know that. You got like 15,000 songs you're doing, dance and choreography. And I guess we're asking you to take some time for my proposal in the middle of your birthday concert.
Yeah. You're like, just give me the order of the songs so I know when.
Well, that's the problem. I didn't know the order, right? And so.
So every song you're like.
I'm literally looking at the, you know.
Getting on one knee.
They got the teleprompter.
And now my next song, you're like.
No, let me tell you what. It's like.
Proposing. Not this song, not yet. No, got it.
How many times you gotta tie your shoes? And so look, but I'm looking at the teleprompter trying to see if I can figure out what song is next.
Yeah, that's smart.
But this is the crazy part. It was like, cause you know the concert, there's a lot of beautiful people there, a lot of half-nakedness, right? And so near the prompter was these beautiful half-naked women, and my fiance thought she was getting mad. Like she told me this, cause she didn't know why I kept looking over there.
Hey.
And I was looking at the teleprompter, but I really was looking at and she the whole time. It wasn't until after proposed, she's like, "Ooh, you lucky." I'm lucky that's what that was. I thought you was So anyway, everybody's having a good time. They do the energy song. Mm-hmm. Somebody get too energized and spill their drink on me, right?
So you get a drink spilled on you.
I get a drink spilled on me. And so I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Now, I've been sitting there for 2.5 hours, waiting on love on top. As soon, and this is the crazy part about the bathroom story. After I washed off the stuff, I said, I'm gonna use the bathroom. As soon as I started using the bathroom,
okay.
I was like, no! Right? And they don't have real bathrooms. That's a perfect song because it was, they had the porta potties. So you imagine hearing somebody at a lone porta potty yelling to, like, no!
Yeah. With that plastic reverberating.
And they had people clean the porta potty. It was all
like, stay away from that one. Yeah.
You okay?
Stay away from that one. I don't know what time someone's getting murdered in that one. Yeah. Oh my God.
No! And so I'm trying to hurry up. I'm in my 40s, so I couldn't do a stoppage. You know what I mean? I'm too old to do that. So I had to, you know what I mean? It had to get out of there. You know what I mean? It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah, you gotta follow through.
And so I start running back to the seat, and I get to the seats, and I literally forget. It looked like they moved the crowd, because Beyonce kept making all these demands. So I'm like, did she tell the crowd to change seats? Like, where is that?
You couldn't find your seat.
I couldn't find a seat. I had to run back, and by this time they doing the crowd is singing, right?
This is your part.
This is my part. And so I'm running, I run out, run back, retrace my steps, like, okay, it was over here, and then I saw that brother was eating popcorn, and then, like, you know what I mean? And so I ended up finding the seat, because I could see the cameraman sweating, like, on his earpiece, like, I don't know where yet, man, And then the crowd sounded like they started getting irritated, because they've been singing the a cappella for so long. People's like, baby, it's you? Are we still singing this? And then at some point, I swear to you, Beyonce was like, and that's when I got on one knee, and I proposed. And this is the thing about it, I don't care, go watch any proposal videos, especially with black women. Every time they get proposed to, they do this weird thing where they step in and walk back. It's like they don't believe it. It's like, so I got on my one knee. This is really what happened. I did the one knee thing, and the first thing she did say, what you doing down there? And I was like, she's like, won't you get up? I said, baby, I'm trying to propose to you. You trying to do what? She's like, no. I gotta do this. She's like cussing me out about, are you gonna make my makeup and all this other stuff? And she said yes.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Well done. That is how you do it.
Yes.
She's gorgeous, and congratulations to you, buddy. Gosh, that's a great story. Can you tell me about this, you and Tiffany Haddish on tour?
Yes, this is my best friend. I don't know if you know the very funny, hilarious Tiffany Haddish.
Unbelievable. She is hilarious.
And since we've been on strike, a lot of us had to go back on the road.
Yeah.
To make some money. And so, but anyway, I love stand-up. That's our roots. That's how we met. That's how we became friends. She was my first LA friend.
Yes.
Like, who would pick me up from the airport in the loudest Geo Metro you can think of. But I couldn't wait to hear that Geo Metro come. That's my ride.
I'm getting that.
And, but this is our tour, man. We both.
But I remember, didn't you do like auditions together and help each other out? And
auditions, she used to let me crash on her couch, right? And she used to have her printer to print out her size for auditions on one of those little TV tables, so it's always shaking. Like
once the printer starts going.
Yeah, it's a little TV table. Like, where can I eat my food? I guess in my lap. But no, it's like grinding with somebody like that for so long, watching her obtain all the success she has, and vice versa. And we've been friends for a very long. That's how we met. We was doing a stand-up series called Bill Bellamy's Who Got Jokes on TV One, And I won my episode of Chicago. She won hers in LA, and I'm backstage. You know, I'm like hype and trying to calm down about just winning. And I hear somebody back there like, here we go. You so funny. We gonna be best friends. I'm like, who are you, lady? And it was Tiffany.
We're gonna be best friends.
What's your number? Anytime you in LA.
Oh my
blah, blah,
God,
blah.
that's her.
And that's how we became friends. She forced the friendship, and that's. And
One of the funniest people, and both of you guys together.
This is gonna be fun. This is 2 headliners for the price of 1 on tour together.
That's what I'm talking about. Go check it out right now. Lil Rel Howery, everybody. We're gonna play a game after the break. Come on back, everybody.